started in a minute. Third meeting of the Mayor and City Council will come to order. Please note, if you wish to be heard at this meeting, please sign the speaker list provided on the table at the side of the council chamber to my right. I reserve the right to limit the amount of time each speaker has for each agenda item. Tonight, each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak for each agenda item. If you'll all rise for the invocation by Reverend Warren H. Litchfield, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Mayor.
Almighty God, we gather this evening hour to conduct the business of this city. Offer our prayer for our mayor, for the president, for the members of the city council, and for all in authority. Grant to them a sense of justice, strength, and wisdom as they perform their duty on behalf of all thy people. Become this city, this county, this state, and this nation, our armed forces, our fire and rescue, and our law enforcement community, for thy merciful care and understanding. Remember those who lie upon a bed of affliction, comfort those who mourn. In the name of the one of the Lord of life, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 4, if you call the roll, Ms. Rao.
Mr. Ricks?
Here.
Ms. Crary?
Here.
Ms. Nicholas?
Here.
Mr. Smalls?
Here.
President Laz?
Here.
Mayor Mel?
Move to agenda item number 5, approval of the minutes of the 32nd meeting of Monday, April 24th, 2017. Got a chance to look at these? Are there any corrections? What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I move for approval.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Ricks. Call the roll, Ms. Rao.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Mr. Ricks?
Aye.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
President Laz?
Yes. Move to agenda item number 6, approval of minutes of the work session of May 3rd, 2017. We've had a chance to look at these. Are there any changes or additions? What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President,
Ms. Crary?
I vote that we move to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ricks. Call the roll, Ms. Rao.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Mr. Ricks?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
President Laz?
Yes. Move to agenda item number 7, report of the mayor and city council. Start tonight with Mr. Ricks.
I have nothing to report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Smalls.
Ditto. I have no report.
Ms. Crary.
Thank you, Mr. President. This past Saturday, I attended the Lake Fest. It was rather cold. I think this year we probably could have served hot chocolate quite easily. It still was enjoyable, and I like getting out and seeing all the people from town. This weekend, everybody remember Laurel Main Street all day long. And on Thursday, we have the farmers market down on Main Street. I attended the Employees Award ceremony last Thursday, and I want to send out special congratulations to all the award winners, and especially Bill Bailey and Bob Baines, who do not relish the limelight. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Creary. Ms. Nicholas.
Thank you. In addition to what's already been said, I attended the Lake Fest. It was cold and rainy, but there was quite a few people there, and we had lots of fun. I also was the speaker at the Laurel High School Assembly for their honor roll students and for their students who had perfect attendance. It was about 300 people, well attended, a lot of parents, had the opportunity to talk to a lot of people. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. You heard council and the mayor, of course, were in attendance at the employee awards ceremony. Congratulations to everybody that were recipients. And thank you to Bill Miles and his family for the wonderful food. This month, May, is Military Appreciation month. Both Mr. Smalls and I had the pleasure of serving in the military. There's a large number of veterans working for the city. If you know a veteran, if you have a chance, thank them for their service. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Condolences to the family and friends of Barry Johnson, as well as Daryl Duckworth, who are both members of the Laurel Volunteer Rescue Squad and passed away. So our condolences to the family and friends and to the membership of the organization. Did have the opportunity to attend the Prince George County Municipal Association monthly meeting in Upper Marlboro, hosted by our county executive, as well as Arbor Day celebration and tree planting at the Ivy Hill Cemetery. I want to thank the Ivy Hill Cemetery Board of Trustees for working with us, and as well as our Park and Rec department for, again, our 24th year being named as a tree city. I did have the opportunity to attend the Mount Pierre Elementary School 50th anniversary celebration. Saw a lot of old friends and teachers, and just a good time, and was happy to attend. The Prince George's County Fraternal Order of Police did not forget one of their own. Their first officer who was killed in the line of duty was Officer Edward Merson, who is buried over in Ivy Hill. And they came and put a marker with where the officer is laid to rest. So I was, again, happy to attend that. I want to thank them for the invitation to be there, as well as members of our police department who attended. On May the 3rd, they did have the Red Flags of Domestic Violence Community Symposium at the Laurel Beltsville Senior Center. I did have the opportunity to stop by with, it was hosted by our County Councilwoman Mary Lehman, Officer Charles Boswell, and Corporal Joe Johnson did attend on behalf of the City of Laurel. And I want to thank them for participating in that as well as the Councilwoman for putting that on. As you heard, we had the City of Laurel Employee Awards luncheon. Let me thank all of our employees for the work they do and all the award recipients on May the 4th. You heard as well as a little overcast at the Granville Goody Park for Lake Fest 2017, but those that attended had a good time, and wasn't too bad. The sun tried to come out, but just didn't make it for the day. So again, thank the Park and Rec staff for their hard work of putting that on. And yesterday I had the opportunity to attend the Tabernacle Church for their International Day service, and again, thank them for the invitation to be with them. And I don't think I've missed that one for a while, so it's always good eats afterwards and a lot of a good time and seeing some old friends as well. On Saturday, May the 13th, you did hear the Main Street Festival will be taking place on Main Street. The parade starts at 9 a.m. On May the 28th, there's a joint memorial service at Ivy Hill Cemetery, and Chaplain Litchfield puts that on. As well as on May the 29th, Memorial Day holiday, city offices will be closed. And Mr. President, I have a couple proclamations. I'm going to step to the podium.
Sure. Kim, look at that. Is that Kim's partner? That's Kim's partner. I don't know.
Our first proclamation is 2017-6, whereas Public Works provides for maintenance and construction of city facilities and protects the health and safety of our community. And whereas Public Works maintains 58.6 miles of streets and their accompanying sidewalks, curb and gutter, and trees throughout the city of Laurel. And whereas the activities and responsibilities of the Department of Public Works includes administration, street maintenance, refuge collection and disposal, recycling, traffic and safety, tree management, snow removal, and automotive repair. And whereas the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff the Department of Public Works by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. Now, therefore, I, Craig A. Mo, the Mayor of the City of Laurel, do hereby proclaim May the 21st through May 27th, 2017 as National Public Work Week. Rob, why don't you come on up? You can tell everybody what you do. Rob is free as our Director of Public Works, does an outstanding job along with his crews. Rob.
Basically, Public Works takes care of anything in the right of way, clean the sidewalks from one side of the street to the other. Any issues that arise having to do with anything in the right of ways, you notify us and we'll go ahead and do it best of our ability to correct everything.
Thank you, Rob. The next is 2017-3, whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk provides a professional link between the citizens and the local governing bodies and agencies of government at all levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be mindful of their neutrality and partiality in rendering equal service to all, whereas the municipal clerks continue to strive to improve the administration of affairs of the Office of Municipal Clerk throughout participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their state, county, and international professional organizations. Now, therefore, I, Craig A. Mo, the City of Laurel, do hereby proclaim the week of May 7th through May 13th, 2017 as Municipal Clerks Week. Jim, why don't you come on up? And Jim Morrell is is a past president of the Maryland Clerks Association, so tell everybody what you do.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the mayor and council for allowing my participation in the state organization as well as the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. The clerk's office provides administrative support to the members of the city council. We work with the council president to set the meeting agendas, working with the city administrator and the mayor's office and the city solicitor's office. We also field any questions or calls from the public, and we administer the general elections and any special election that might come up. We do have an election that we're planning for now, which will be Tuesday, November the 7th of this year. Thank you.
Next proclamation is 2017-4, whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy designated May the 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day and the week in which that day follows as Police Week. And whereas our law enforcement personnel are dedicated to their communities they serve, working tirelessly to transform neighborhoods despite facing daily threats. Public safety officers embrace innovative approaches to improving and upholding the rule of law. And whereas our officers put their lives on the line to protect others, sometimes making the ultimate sacrifice. One death is too many, and every death is unfortunate. An unfortunate loss to officers, family, and colleagues in the community. The service they all have, the service in which they have all worn the badge, shall never be forgotten. And now, therefore, I, Craig A. Mo, the Mayor of the City of Laurel, do hereby proclaim May the 14th through May 20th, 2017 as National Police Week. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the men and women of the Laurel Police Department, I'd like to thank the mayor, the administration, and the council for their undying support. This year, or actually last year in 2016, we had 143 officers killed in this country. That is a phenomenal number. Currently, we're on track. There have been 46 killed in the line of duty this year. That's just killed. That's not injured. That's not maimed. That's killed. That is an absolute atrocious number. The events that occur downtown at the National Law Enforcement Memorial are very, very moving. If you get the opportunity next week, go down there anytime during the week. It is just, it's amazing to look at the names that are etched in those walls for eternity. The mayor spoke of Ed Merson, who was the first Prince George's County police officer that unfortunately was killed in Laurel. He was a Laurel resident. He is buried across the street at Ivy Hill Cemetery. He was killed 80 years ago this year. 80 years ago. And he's still remembered by his police department. That speaks volumes. Every one of these officers that dies in the line of duty, we adopt their families. Their families are our families. And if you look on Facebook, Twitter, there's all kinds of different videos and different things where officers are going to proms, they're walking daughters down the aisle. It is not something that is forgotten easily by any of us that wear the badge. So thank you for the support that we continue to get. May God watch over all of us and make sure that our memorial across the street doesn't get any names added to the center wall and no officers get killed on the line of duty. Thank you, Mayor.
The last proclamation is 2017-5, whereas May the 20th, 2017 is the 4th Kids to Park Day, organized and launched by the National Park Trust. And whereas National Kids to Park Day empowers kids to encourages families to get outdoors and visit America parks. And whereas it is important to introduce a new generation of our nation's parks because of the decline in park attendance over the last decade. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, and hypertension. And whereas National Kids to Park Day is open to all children and adults across the country to encourage a large and diverse group of participations. Now, therefore, I, Craig M. O., the Mayor of the City of Laurel, do hereby proclaim Saturday, May the 20th as Kids to Parks Day. Joanne?
Thank you, Mayor. And I just want to thank the Mayor and City Council for all the support they give the Department of Parks and Recreation. We have wonderful parks and facilities and programs here in Laurel. And on Kids to Park Day, we want to invite any child under the age of 12 to come out to Granville Goody Park and take one lap around the lakes and earn yourself a trip on to the boats anytime during the boating season this summer, and get out and take a look at all the parks that we have and all the programs that we have. And thank you very much.
Joanne, I might do 2 laps, so what do I get? Okay, there we go. Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Move to agenda item number 8, general public hearing. We'll open the general public hearing at 7:19. First person to have signed to speak is Hawa. Hawa. I'm sorry. Oh, you don't want to speak? Okay. Going to let you. Okay, thank you. Next person signed up to speak is John Drago. John, if you come forward, state your name and address for the record.
John Drago, 501.
John, hit that. I turned the mic off.
Make sure the green light goes on. Button's at the bottom there of the... Oh, well. See the button?
Okay, push.
There you go.
Green light.
Green
that
light.
means go. John Drago, 501 Main Street. As usual, I'm not here for snow removal and stuff. I'm here for art. I try to be one of those people that not only talks the talk, but walks the walk. So I come once in a while and want to tell you what I've got going on or whatever in conjunction with whatever else may be going on. On Saturday, I followed up on the contact with Ragamuffins, the coffee shop. And we had a good conversation the first time. And on Saturday, we had an hour-and-a-half conversation. And it was about poetry and art on exhibit there. And I'm too busy right now to really do that. But that was good for them also because they said they're tired of making decisions and they needed a break. So that was good for both of us. We're going to get back together again in the end of June, 2 months from now, to pursue what we're doing. So that's that part. And I had a lot of proposals for the Arts Council when it develops. And I talked with Craig about one of those all the way back in December. And I just want to throw that out there so that you can mull that over. When I came back here back in the autumn, there was something I wanted to do at the other town where I was involved in art stuff. And I couldn't get it to happen there, but I think it's going to happen here. And my first vision was to line up a bunch of artists to come on a Saturday once a month between April and October and up and down Main Street, wherever there's a patch of grass, and show 5 or 10 pieces of art, the open-air market, just like they used to do along the mall in Washington, D.C., along the reflecting pool. And I discussed that with Craig, and he seemed to have an interest in that and said that he thought that that might fit at some point in time in the plan for arts in the city. I have a couple other things, but I'm just going to add one more tonight, and then some other time I'll give you a break, and some other time I'll bring up a couple more. I do not only the painting and the sculpture and the ceramics, but also the literary stuff. And there's a movement across the country called Poetry Moment. And what the town will do is create a little post with a weatherproof box. And about every 2 months, they'll put a poem in there written by somebody in the community or whatever that is approved by a committee. And they'll have that like 6 times a year. And it's put someplace here. It'd be neat to have it. One down on the Riverfront Park. And maybe one in the open lot where the farmer's market is on Main Street, where people walking by can take that poetry moment just to read that. And at the end of the year, they host a reception for the 6 poets or so that had their poem was chosen. And in addition to that, they have other poets that just want to participate also. And they have a reception, and the poetry's read. And I'm not putting Craig on the spot, but the mayor at the other place there, he provided jazz guitar. No, you don't have to do that. So anyway, it's a cultural event, and I think it would fit here pretty well. So that's 2 of my proposals that were on the back of the sheet I gave you 2 weeks ago. So you can reference those. So anyway, thanks for your time, and that's my report on what I'm doing to walk the walk as well as the talk.
Thanks, John.
All right, thank you. I'm supposed to turn this off?
No, yeah, just you push the button. Next person, turn it on if they want to come up. Have no one else signed up to speak? Is there anyone else wishing to speak at the general public hearing? Seeing no one, I will close the general public hearing at 7:25. John mentioned Ragamuffins, which is the new coffee shop on Main Street. The council will be having a coffee with the council at that location in a couple of weeks. And then soon thereafter, we'll move to a location a couple weeks later over in Ward 2. You can come and you can say something to the council if you want, or you can just have a cup of coffee, because I'm buying. We're lucky to have several places on Main Street now that are serving coffee, one down at C Street, Java, and now Ragamuffins. We hope they all do well. And I encourage people to go have a cup of coffee and meet the proprietors. Move to agenda item number 9, consideration of a bid recommendation LA 17-02, Citywide concrete repairs. Rob, you have the floor.
Thank you. Yeah, as discussed at the work session, Public Works had gone out and did sealed bids, and on April 12th, we opened the bids up and got 7 bids for doing various sidewalk repairs along with curb gutter and ADA compliant ramps. The bids range from Royal Construction at $65,287 up to J Villa Construction at $171,000. CIP provides for the funding for this project, and it's recommended that we award this contract to Royal Construction for the amount of $85,000, which leaves a balance of $65,287, and we have a $19,713 contingency.
Okay, any questions of Rob? We discussed this at our work session on May 3rd. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President,
Ms. Curry.
I recommend that we approve the bid recommendation LA 17-02 as set forth by Mr. Fareed to Royal Construction.
Thank you, Ms. Curry. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Nicholas. Call the roll, Ms. Rao.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas? Yes. Mr. Ricks?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
President Les?
Yes. Thank you. Move to agenda item number 10. Consideration of bid recommendation LA 17-03 citywide street improvements. Rob, you have the floor.
Yes, again, Public Works had a bid opening on April 12th, and we had 6 bids that came forth for doing westbound Cherry Lane from 4th Street to Ashford Boulevard, and Ashford Boulevard from Cherry Lane heading south to the terminus. This is to do deep patching, putting in sidewalk, curb and gutter as needed, milling the streets, and then overlaying it. Espina paving came in at $336,887, and the highest bid was from Rivers Construction for $563,760. CIP provides funding for these streets, so it's recommended that we award the contract to Espina for $336,887 and use a $33,113 as a contingency for a total of $370,000. The remaining balance that would be in the CIP for Cherry Lane would be funded in the next phase, going from Ashford Boulevard heading west.
Thank you. We discussed this at the May 3rd work session. Any questions of Rob? What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President, I move that we grant the bid for Espina paving in the amount of $336,877.
Thank you, Mr. Ricks. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Curry. Call the roll, Ms. Rao.
Mr. Ricks?
Aye.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas? Yes. Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
President Les?
Yes. Move to agenda item number 11. Public hearing on the intention to raise the tax rate above the constant yield rate, CYTR. I'll open the public hearing at 7:30, and Ms. Michelle, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. The assessable base for the city of Laurel for the FY 2018 budget year was certified on February 14th, 2017, in the amount of $2,774,277.80. Excuse me. In accordance with the State of Maryland Tax Property Articles 2-205 and 6-308, an advertisement was prepared for the Prince George's Sentinel. We forwarded the advertisement as it's very specifically laid out. We sent it to the State Department of Assessment and Taxation and received an approval of all of our calculations on April 5th, 2017. The advertisement ran in the April 20th edition of the Prince George's Sentinel, and a full page sample of the full page was submitted to SDAT on April 27th, which is meets the deadline of having sent it within 15 days of the ad. The nature of the advertisement is to let the citizens know that while the city is not increasing its tax rate of 71 cents per $100 of assessed value, that the state has calculated that it should be 68.12 cents. That our revenues will increase. However, as I've mentioned before, there's no allowance for inflationary factors or other fixed costs that the city is obligated to pay and to budget for.
Okay, Michelle has explained the CYTR. I have no one sign up to speak on this agenda item. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing at 7:32.
I'm sorry. Additionally, Mr. President, as I mentioned at the work session last week, I received notice from SDAT the week of April 24th, letting me know that there was an adjustment to the assessable base. It's a difference of $8,745 in tax revenue. The assessable base having decreased, that they had made an adjustment. They did not require us to re-advertise, but just to mention it during the public hearing, during the constant yield tax rate public hearing.
Okay, so it's been mentioned, and we will now close the public hearing at 7:32. There's no other action required for this. Is that correct, Michelle?
That's correct.
Okay, so thank you very much for another job well done.
Thank you.
We'll move to agenda item number 12. Introduction and first public hearing on ordinance number 1914, an ordinance adopting the operating budget of the mayor and city council of Laurel, Maryland for the fiscal year July 1, 2017 through June 30, 2018, and to levy property taxes and to authorize the collection of such taxes and approving the capital improvements program for fiscal year 2018 to 2023. I've read the title into the record for the first reading. I'll open the public hearing at 7:33. Michelle, do you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Ordinance 1914 includes the summary totals for a balanced budget of revenues and expenditures of $32,071,586. This is based on a 71 cent per $100 of assessed value tax rate, as well as $1.69 for personal property taxes for businesses, and the 3 cents for the transit overlay in the commercial areas. This would make the 10th year of the 71 cent tax rate. Additionally included in the ordinance, since we started combining the operating budget with the CIP, there are $2,004,250 worth of new projects, as well as the request for reauthorization of $8,944,314.98 in projects that you previously appropriated funds for. They're still ongoing, and we request the reauthorization of those funds to keep those projects moving forward.
Okay. I have no one signed up to speak for this agenda item. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing at 7:35. The next budget work session is scheduled for Wednesday, May 10th at 7 p.m. And the second public hearing with possible action is scheduled for the mayor and city council meeting on Monday, May 22nd, 2017 at 7 p.m. Move to agenda item number 13. Introduction and first public hearing on resolution number 9-17. Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel approving an annexation agreement with Strip Matter Conti LLC for the annexation of 32.68 acres of land known as 7041 and 7051 Conti Road, Laurel, Maryland, into the corporate limits of the City of Laurel, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement. I'll note that resolution number 9-17, sponsored by the president at the request of the administration. I've read the title into the record for the first reading. I'll open the public hearing at 7:36. I have no one signed up to speak on this agenda item. Is there anyone desiring to speak? Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing at 7:36 and a half. We discussed this at the work session on May 3rd. The second public hearing with possible action is scheduled for the mayor and city council meeting on Monday, May 22nd, 2017 at 7 p.m. That concludes the agenda. Is there anything else to come before the council? Adjourned.